So, here we are again.
Yes, we are.
Another day, another holiday.
Another one, a very important one. What is it?
Independence Day.
Independence Day, right.
Also known as the 4th of July.
Yes, it is.
And so, we like to celebrate unusual holidays. But if we celebrate a typical holiday,
Yes.
we like to do it a little differently.
Right.
So for this year's Independence Day, we're just going to take a little trip back in time to the original Independence Day by dressing up like the people of that time. And notice we don't have on white wigs because we're not supposed to be old people. Right?
No, we're in our 30s or 20s.
Yeah, so I mean some in their 40s, but most of the people that worked on the Declaration of Independence were young people. They weren't old people. So we wanted to dress up like younger people. And we have our flag here, the flag that would have been flown at that time called the Grand Union flag. As no stars.
And we have our copy of the Declaration of Independence.
And that is what we're going to focus on today. Because the Declaration of Independence is what Independence Day is all about.
Right.
Yeah, it's not just about hot dogs or something.
No,
It's
no.
about this document that is so wonderful. And we have really had fun researching it. So, John, we're going to read part of it. We're going to talk about a little bit about it. And not going to read the whole thing.
No, it's a little long.
It's a little one. And so John's going to start out, and we're going to read and comment, have a little fun with it.
Yeah, so here it is. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation.
So what they're saying there really is just that they feel compelled to give the reasons why they want to be independent, specific reasons.
And the reasons are very rational and emotional.
No, they're not.
Not emotional, excuse me.
It's not just because they're mad. We're
No,
mad.
no.
No.
They
it's
were people of the Enlightenment.
Yeah, so they wanted to show that it wasn't something, emotional, it was something actually rational. Right. So anyway, it goes on to say, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
That's wonderful. That's just a revolutionary concept in those days. A classless society. In those days, they believed you were born in your station and you were stuck in your station, and the king was just going to be running everything.
That's right. And so, it also says here that, people have a right to be happy. They're not just here to serve their rulers.
That's important.
Yeah, that life is good.
Yes.
That life can be great. You can be happy, right?
And there's those words, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
That these are necessary and
And
possible. And
That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed.
right, so the people are supposed to govern themselves. The government should serve the people, not the other way around. The people shouldn't be serving the government.
And the government should be democratic and self-governing.
Yes. And the people are primary in the development of government. I mean, this takes work.
Yes,
Yeah.
took a lot of work.
It takes work, but they say the people are willing and should do the work.
And the people must have a way of holding government accountable.
Yes, so that if a few, unscrupulous people take over or something like that, that there's some means of getting the power back in the hands of the people.
Right.
Okay, goes on. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive to these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem to be most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that government long established should not be changed for light and transient causes.
Well, people do have a right then to change the government for the purpose of improving the conditions of the people. If the conditions are really bad, they have a right to change the government.
Yeah, and they shouldn't, but it also says that government shouldn't be changed for trivial reasons.
No.
You know, that it needs to be because the people's general welfare of all of the people,
Right.
not just maybe a ruling class.
Right, that's
Right.
true.
It's about the welfare of all the people.
And
Go ahead.
And according to all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed.
So what that sort of says is that, you know, people don't like change, even when it's for the better, and that some people always get hurt when there's change. It's a
Right.
hard thing to do. So,
And what they're doing is not easy for anyone, so you have to be very careful when you have a change.
yeah, but, you know, they still felt that government should evolve.
Yes.
Right, but also there should be realistic expectations.
Right.
That there are going to be certain failures in government, or any governmental system, and you just have to work through them, right?
That's right.
Okay.
But when a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right and their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security.
So, what it says is that government becomes oppressive, that it's justified then to overthrow the government.
Right. And the main reason for overthrowing a particular government is dictatorship.
Yeah, not just because there's another group of people who have different views,
That's right.
who maybe have greater numbers, then things have to be worked out. What they say is despotism, and that is when there's a king, a dictator,
A ruler who has absolutely power.
right, when someone, individual, gains too much power,
Right.
because that's what they were up against, so they want to keep that from happening ever again.
Right. Well,
So they continue here, and they list their grievances, and they have a whole bunch of them here.
oh yeah,
How many grievances do they have? They have a lot.
there are some that really jumped out at me, like getting rid of jury trial.
That was not good. There's 28
28?
grievances
Oh,
here.
28 reasons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of things going on that were bad.
Uh-huh.
He was abolishing the legislature.
Right.
The king was.
Making it hard for the legislature to meet.
Yeah, they would say, you have to meet way over in this place, and
Yeah.
then they couldn't get there, because
Yeah,
he wanted
couldn't
to
get
keep
there.
them from passing laws.
And there was that thing, they wanted to control immigration by not letting people come in to be part of this new country.
Yeah, they were trying to keep the numbers down, so they were upset about that, and they were upset that the government was interfering with business.
Yeah.
And these were things that the king was doing.
And even when they found persons that the king didn't like, they wanted to take them overseas to judge their cases.
Yeah,
Take 'em away.
that was terrible.
It
And
was
then
terrible.
there was big problems with the justice system.
Oh, justices.
The justices, judges were not fair,
Mhm.
and they would just do whatever the king wanted them to do instead of really obeying the law.
And actually, they control the whole law development. People couldn't develop and pass laws the way they wanted to.
And there were British armies running around up and down the
Gosh, they're
streets,
all-
intimidating people.
Yeah, the British armies were stationed all over the place, and the colonists had to pay for everything that the British armies did. They had to give them their room and board. I mean, it was very
Terrible.
oppressive.
And taxation without representation.
Oh, that was big,
That
yeah.
was big, because
Yeah.
every time, they were taxing the colonies.
Right.
And they wanted to be able to just decide what they
Yeah.
wanted to pay for.
There was the
and
Stamp
pay
Act,
for.
there was the tea taxation, they taxed everything and made these colonists just, and they used the money for themselves. The colonists didn't get any benefits from these taxes. So anyways,
Yeah, they had a lot of,
Yeah.
Here this one, number 25. He is at this time transporting large armies of foreign mercenaries to complete the works of death, desolation, and tyranny already begun under circumstances with cruelty and perfidy, scarcely paralleled in the most barbarous ages,
Ooh.
and totally unworthy of the head of a civilized nation.
yeah,
So they really had some complaints here.
yeah, some real grievances.
Real grievances, not just emotions. So they go on then, and the next part they talk about how they're going to form an independent country and they're declaring it, which is the actual declaration.
Right,
But one thing that I loved was this one sentence where it says, "We must therefore acquiesce in the necessity which denounces our separation to hold them as we hold the rest of mankind, enemies in war, but in peace, friends." So they keep the door open for eventual, hopefully,
reconciliation, or at least
reconciliation.
a relationship of friendship.
I mean, how, no, chest thumping or anything.
No.
They really were gracious in a way
Very
and
much.
very civilized.
Yeah, very civilized.
Just like these clothes are
Yeah.
very civilized, right?
Yeah, they did,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
So anyway, we had a great time studying this document. We're
Yes, we
really
did.
inspired by it.
and very enlightened people, very idealistic, egalitarian, basic principles of government, and really thinking through government it's something that you have to put work into and develop and be responsible for.
And they didn't say that they want to develop a powerful nation or, a mighty nation, a conquering nation. It was a nation of ideals.
You're right.
And ideas. And the purpose was for people to be happy.
Right.
Isn't that wonderful?
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Happiness. So,
Yeah.
there were some basic principles
Right.
like the equality, class of society,
Rule of law.
rule of law. They had democracy, people responsible for their own government,
They
self-determination.
were optimistic, guys.
Yeah, they thought people were really capable of doing this.
Right.
And even today, if you talk to Putin or any of these people, they say, oh, they aren't capable of democracy.
Well.
Because they're not smart enough, or they're not civilized enough, or whatever. And so far, America has proven them wrong.
Yeah. It's an ideal, and we're still moving that way.
Yeah, we had a little trouble
Applying
this
it
time.
maybe to more and more and more aspects of
Right.
our common life.
That there's, this idea of a peaceful transition of power.
Oh,
which
that's very important.
right now, we see what it looks like when that doesn't
When
happen.
there isn't
It's
that
not
kind
good.
of
We want to
thing.
keep that.
Yeah.
And tolerance, diversity, they don't say we all think the same thing, we are all the same religion, we're all the same nationality. They didn't even address that.
No.
Because, that wasn't important.
Yeah.
And this big thing of government through consensus, compromise, negotiation,
Right.
voting, being represented, and then everybody moving ahead,
Right.
right?
So that's what we
Anyway.
worked on this year.
Yeah, so, this document has ideas that are so great and so inspiring and so true that it spread from America around the rest of the world. Almost every nation now has a constitution, even the ones that still have a monarch. And so democracy didn't happen at this time. It continues to unfold.
Unfold, because, get everybody into the vote, get everybody included. Nobody in any lower station, everybody in a class of society.
It just keeps rolling out, still rolling out, and still working on it. But it continues to do that because it's right and true and godly. And, that people should come together and take responsibility for maintaining their own affairs.
Right.
And, it doesn't mean that anybody gets their way in particular,
No.
but you get your way some of the time and compromise, you get some of what you
Yeah.
want.
You have to work it out together.
Right, right.
Yeah. So,
Go ahead.
go ahead. I mean, I'm ready to celebrate this great day in
Okay,
the right way, the good way. So, hooray for the Declaration of Independence. Hooray for the Declaration of Independence. Hooray for America.
okay.
And
Happy Independence Day.